Hello, hello. You are with me, Mrs. Barbara J. Beckley, at the Visibility Corner. I always get so excited because this is the time when I bring you some wonderful, amazing experts in their field of genius to talk about what they do, why they started doing what they do in their business, or some kind of special type of cause that they might be doing. Because, like I said, that itself is important. And with all that, take that in and say, how did they become visible? What did they do in their lane of interest that they pushed themselves, that they put themselves out there? Maybe give them some tips of teachable moments or something that maybe didn't really work out right. And they say, you know what? I want to tell you something so you don't have to do the same thing I did. So I want to make sure that you get some of those tips and some of those insights that they do. So my name again is Barbara J. Beckley. I am a purpose, visibility, and social media strategist. And I come to you every time when the Visibility Corner comes on. First of all, to give you, like I said, those golden nuggets, and also to meet these wonderful, wonderful guests that I bring on. Like I always tell people, people don't see who you are and what you do. Then why are you hiding your gifts under a rock? I always tell people that that is not going to help anybody. So we need to make sure that you're visible. And this is why I bring this particular show on, because I want to make sure that people are being seen that really are changing the worlds and our lighthouses to the world. Well, I have another wonderful, amazing person that I'm bringing on that I've been knowing her for a while. I mean, I look at her as my sister, my mentor, and we have been doing a lot of things together. You're talking about visibility. One of the things, and I want to mention too, that coming together and networking with individuals and collaborating is another good part of being visible because you can come together in what you two do, right? And then create something even more powerful to put both of you out there. It could be a win-win. So that's another thing that I would advise people to do as well is make sure that you meet the people around that are positive, that we can help each other and grow with each other. This particular lady, Mrs. Doctor, I call her Pastor P, but she has a doctorate. Her name is Dr. Paulette Harper, affectionately known as the Story Activator. Dr. Paulette Harper is a 13-time, and I know it's even more now, best-selling, two-time award-winning author, speaker, and leader in literary of marketplace. She is the founder of the One Story University, where she specialized in producing anthologies and serves as the self-publishing coach to nonfiction aspiring authors, providing authors coaching, marketing, and business coaching to entrepreneurs. Now, right there, ding, 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 visibility. With God on her side, she uses her gifts to inspire others to trust God, dream big, and never settle for anything less than God's best for their lives. She preaches on living with purpose, never limiting God, staying focused, and allowing God to take you places you have only imagined. And I'm telling you, God has taken her a lot of places where I know she's in her mindset, wow. But you know what? It continues on. Her blessings continue to happen, and she's blessing others with that. So let's get to know this wonderful, wonderful woman, this doctor, this pastor, just a lighthouse of the world, Dr. Paulette Harper. We'll be right back with her. Miss Queen.
Hello, hello, Barbara. I'm so happy to be here with you today.
Yes, thank you. First of all, thank you for listening to my call as I always do. And this is one of my other specialty shows that I have, and we're both under the same network, which is very exciting.
Yeah,
American Woman TV. And I just thank you so much for coming on my show, as always.
I appreciate the opportunity to be on, to talk about just being interviewed by you, talk, to your audience and whatnot. And so I thank you so much. I love you a whole lot. I love our relationship that we have with one another. Just, connecting and collaborating with one another is a tremendous blessing.
Yes. And then just before we start getting to know you a little bit more, because I want the audience to really get to know you more. I know you, but I want them to really understand. You just mentioned about collaboration. I have to say, with us coming together and doing that, it has been, and I'm going to say it right here because we both are women faith. We love God. That God brought, I believe in my heart and soul, God brought us together to collaborate and really show our gifts that we have that God gave us, put them together and say, come on, let's do this together
Yeah.
and uplift, not only ourselves, but the other people that you as clients and authors, and then myself, to help, with that. So it's just nice just to be just a little sidekick with you to help bring those authors so people can see and get their visibility and understand what they went through, what they dealt with, what kind of chapter they wrote, and people are getting hope from what they've been writing. So I thank you for letting me be in your space.
Oh no, I appreciate you. You talked about collaboration. You can't be in this industry without it. It's very hard to be a solo. Um, you know, uh, in this industry, to do things by yourself. You really do need a collaboration because there's just some things I can't do. And, when you collaborate with each other, when we collaborate with each other, you give us the opportunity to come on your platform. And, my authors are always so excited about, being on your platform and, and you're interviewing us. And that's a tremendous blessing because we need that in this, publishing visibility, book writing business.
Yeah, yeah. And I always, like I said earlier, I said, you know what, you're doing so much work. They're doing so much work, and I would hate to see that no one sees that to get something from that. And that just really just that's one of my yearning things. Like, no, that can't happen. It
Yeah.
cannot happen. We have to have you out there. People need to know who you are. And I push that mark all the time, and that's one of the reasons why I love collaborating with you. And I would stress that with everybody else. Find that niche that others have that you two are, equal in, and help push that out there because people need to hear from you. People need to hear from what you do. And you never know who you're going to touch. You never know who you're going to touch. So,
Yeah.
but with that, lady, I want to first, okay, enough about that. Let's push that out the way for a minute. I want people to get to know who you are. And I always say it's like open up that curtain and say, okay, how did this wonderful queen, this publisher, this author, this speaker, award winning, and the list goes on, but how did she get there and then the why? So can you just give us a little take on that?
Yeah, definitely. So, as a published author, my why, I had, experienced some emotional trauma and wanted to write my story about it. And so, just really wanting to share with people what I had gone through, but really, in sharing my story, just really telling people that, no matter what happens in life, no matter what, obstacles and whatever it is that's devastating to us, our voice still matters. And so for me, it was really owning what had happened to me and not being ashamed of the scars and then writing about it, And so my why came really when people began to ask me after I wrote my first book. People began to ask me, can you show us how to publish? Can you show us how to become authors? And that's really my why. I do what I do because one, I really believe that I'm the solution to people who want to write their own books, and even taking it a step further, with my, anthologies and whatnot. And so that has really been my why. My readers and the authors, the aspiring authors, those who want to have visibility, those who want to have share their stories. They really push me because they always, are asking me, how can I do what you do, or how can you show me how to publish books?
And I would love what you do too, Queen, because you have a lot of people that are first time, that probably never even fathomed. And I'm going back when I did my first book. And I'd be like, I'd never be in a book. I don't even know how to write. I don't know how to even start this process. I know somebody told me I need to do this, but I don't know. But you take them by the hand and you lead them every step of the way. And that's what I always say. That's your totally, what I call it special sauce that you have, what you do is because you have that heart of gold and you
Yeah.
want to see them right and you want to see them succeed. It's like you just this mother hen, I call it, where you just guide them through. So you create a lot of new, authors that never thought that it would be that way.
Yeah, yeah. The thing about what I do, I realize that there's two kind of visionary authors. It is one who will just take your chapter and say, "I'll see you when the book is published," or me, where I want you to really know and learn about becoming an author, and so I do, the one-on-one coaching for those who need it. And so I take, my authors through that journey of just really the transformation, because if you are the type of, visionary author who just takes their chapter, they're not going to really get a real pull on the transformation that they can have. And so for me, it's the experience I want the authors to have. It's the transformation I want them to experience. And I get those kind of results. I get the authors after they've gone through, they'll come back with a testimony about their own experience. A lot of them are like, I never even thought I would even be here. It has just really blown my mind. And I love that because that is my goal. Those are the kind of results that I'm looking for from the authors to say, you know what, I did not even expect this, but I see where, I've grown so much, the transformation was there, and it just really has changed their lives.
And I see it all the time. I see the authors. See, it's really, you just mentioned about the experience. That's the important part because I see you give them such a wonderful experience that they come back. See, when a person comes back, and not just one or two times,
Yeah.
I've seen continue certain authors that's been with you like from the beginning, and
Yeah.
they're like waiting. Like soon as they okay, Pastor B, when is your next anthology coming? I'm ready to sign up. And that says volumes. That says volumes.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I have, several authors who have been in my anthologies two, three times, and I really do love that because it really does, it's a testament to me. It's the fact that they trust me. They already know what the results are going to be, that I'm going to deliver. I'm going to deliver on my promise. I'm going to deliver on the things that I said that I was going to do, and they trust me in that process. And they already know what to expect, and so they know the routine. They know the routine, and I don't have to really, teach them very much because they already know that process. Of course, their chapters are a little bit different, but yeah, I have several authors who work with me for several anthologies as well.
Yeah. Now saying that, I wanted to ask you because being a self-publishing, coach for non-fictional expiring authors as you do, what would be some of the key steps that you would recommend to the writer, that's want to be a successful self-publishing book?
Yeah, so if they are writing their solo book, it really is about getting the clarity on the story that they want to write. And then once they get the clarity on the story, then it's really outlining their chapters and then following that framework. The thing about, writing nonfiction writing comes from our hearts, from our experiences, the lessons that we've learned in life. And then it is, how can I take a reader on that same journey that I took? And what does that process look like? And so those who are, just want to be in an anthology, I actually still take them through that same process. It is deciding on what topic you want to discuss, and then how to frame that chapter that is an intro, it has a middle, and then the ending is what is the win for these readers? What can they take away from your chapter other than just saying, oh, this was a great chapter? No, we want the stories to be transformational. And that's the process that I take, even those who I work one-on-one with, and then also those who are in my anthologies.
What I love what you said about, well, I loved everything what you said, but the main thing what you said about what is the transformation from, whatever the story is at the beginning, and then what that little change happened, what changed in your life that made you go to the next level, because
Yeah.
that helps the reader. That helps
Oh,
the
yeah.
reader so much. I always tell people, you don't tell what that, I keep calling the secret sauce of that transformation that you went through, then you really
Yeah.
you're missing it. You're missing out for the reader.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. And this is this is how I do my coaching, because I really try to emphasize that, when you're doing, if it's an anthology, you want to have a intro that pops, that really attracts them and lures the reader in. You want to say something that is going to cause the reader to be like, oh, I want to continue reading. And then the middle portion of that is your experiences, the emotions that you want to share. It is pulling out, those ugly parts of you that, you really had to get healed from. And then, you want to always have the reader walk away with a win, some solutions, some results, because these are readers that can really identify, with your story if there's a connection there. But if we're just writing just for the sake of writing, the readers are going to leave with, oh, okay, that was a good chapter, but it didn't really resonate. It didn't really, bring impact to my life. And that's really what I want the authors to do, is make an impact in your chapter, really get to the meat of it. And I'm really known for sending a chapter back to an author. I'm really known for that. We could ask some of my authors. I'm known for sending a chapter back to an author. When I read a chapter and I see, oh, it's cute. It's cute. It's not really cutting, but it's safe. I should use that word. It's a safe chapter. And I'll send it back, and I'll like, you know what? Your readers really want to know how you felt. Because that's how they feel. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I do that a lot. And but the authors really appreciate that, because I pull out ideas and creativity in them that they just sit on. And so you have to be able to be vulnerable when you're writing, nonfiction. But they know that I'm going to walk with them. They know that I'm going to carry them, side by side to get to a chapter that when they read it after editing and whatnot, they'll look back and say, "Wow, I did that."
Yes. Well, I'm glad that, see, because you're getting them out of that comfort zone. You're getting them out of the box. I like when you send that chapter back, because you know what's going to really hit home for people that
Yeah.
are readers, and you know that their story is powerful. That they have to put that in there so people can get the hope. I always say your chapters, your stories, if you're just a solo, author or in an anthology, that people are looking for. They're really looking for like hope, or, oh, this person went through that. I'm going through it too. Oh my God, I'm not alone. I'm not alone here.
Yeah.
And she's telling me what she went through. She went deep with it. And she told me how she slowly and surely got out of it. And maybe that I can do the same thing. See, so that's where I tell people, now you're saving lives when that
Yeah.
happens. Yes.
Yeah. I love that when you said now you're saving lives, and that's really what our story should do. Really reach a reader that's really going to make an impact, empower them, and really change their lives.
Yes, and I know, like I said, we've been collaborating for a while, and I'm always listening to these authors that come in that you've been really like coaching and having their stories out there. And when I listen to what, just a little portion of it when they talk about it, I'm like, I've been looking at them like, wow, you got through all of that. I mean, we talk from, from deep depression to
Yeah.
sexual, assault to, I mean, and it just endless stories that they have. And I'd be sitting there like, I need some tissue or something. I said, I need to calm down, just listen to this, because I'm just, and my heart is going out to them. But then when they say, yeah, they all went through all this, but
Yeah.
the transformation happened, either, through God or what other, counsel, whatever they had,
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
got to them. Powerful, powerful. And you helped them bring that out.
Yeah, I really believe that is, my jam, my superpower to do that, to pull that creativity and, out of them because, especially if they're a first time author, they don't know, the way that I coach, they don't know my structure. And so, and that's one of the reasons why I do offer a one-on-one session with authors, because I want them to know what I'm looking for. And I know that they have the ability to do it. And so, when I'm doing my session with them, I'm asking them certain questions. We're getting clarity on the chapter title that we want to, the story that we want to write. And then it's about, okay, this is what we need to do, And so, and they'll go through that process. I can read a chapter and I can tell if you've been healed from it. I can read a chapter and tell if you have forgiven the person, because it as a writer, we convey how we feel emotionally, on tablet, on paper, And so there was one author who had her chapter and she sent it to me and I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, you're not healed from that. You can't write that. You can't write that chapter, So, I really was able to really minister to her and pray with her and show her what she really needed. And so she revised it and redid it. And she was real thankful for me for that.
That's powerful. That is really powerful, Queen. That, like you said, you taking each individual author and you're really looking at their whole story, and you're even seeing the fact that, okay, that healing is still not quite there yet. I can see it, I can read it. Maybe you need to change up, or maybe you need to do a whole new chapter or something else that you've been healed and move forward. So that's powerful, because a lot of times, and I hate to put it out there, but I'm gonna be totally out there. Some people that coach off, the publisher, they just want to get the money and say, just write the chapter and come on, let's do this, and it's put in the book. They're not thinking of everything else behind that you have to deal with to get that chapter to be powerful enough. Or you might be hurting somebody by telling them, yeah, you gotta do it. Well, I went through this, whatever, well, no, just put it in the book, but they're not thinking, okay, wait a minute, this is a psychological thing for them right now. They don't know what they're dealing with.
Yeah. I totally agree with you on that. And that's why I do the coaching, because I don't want an author to send me a chapter, especially when it's due and the deadline, and I'll be like, no. No, we need a coaching session.
I like when you say it so nicely. We need coaches.
Please, let's schedule a coaching session because we need to dissect this chapter. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I want to add, because you did talk about, I was going to ask you some of the common challenges that, the non-fictional authors face when trying to, publish their book, and how do you help them overcome their obstacles? And you kind of mentioned a few. Do you have another one that you kind of deal with that you see on a regular basis as well?
Yeah. When I'm doing solo authors, my clients, I kind of found that when they're done with their book, the first draft, and they send it off to the editor, and then of course it comes back all red lined, and I prepare them for this, I really do, I prepare them for when they're going to get their edits back from the editor, what it's going to look like, what they need to do, And so I had one author who she wanted to change some of the content in the book, And so my editor was like, Paulette, she changed it quite a bit. And I'm like, oh no, because now the editor has to reread the entire manuscript because different content is in there already, now. And so I find that when solo authors, get their manuscript back, they want to change it. They want to change content. They want to just change the, a lot of the the structure of it. They want to make a change, and I tell them, this is not where you make your change at. Because, and I'm talking about a lot. It's not just a paragraph, okay? And so, I tell them at this point, when you send it to the editor, the editor is expecting it to come back like that, except with the changes that she's, suggested. And I have to even tell that to my visionary. I have to tell it to my authors who are in my anthologies as well. When you send me your chapter, it's it. Okay, and so when the editor gets a hold of your chapter, this is not a time where you are going to change your chapter. You're not going to delete some content, add some content. It's not. It's not. And I have even told my editor, these are the instructions. When you get the chapter, they're not to change any kind of content on it. And if they do, please let me know, because I need to address them on that.
Yes. I mean, I'm with you 100%, because when I first, and it's been like 5 years now, that was in my first anthology book. And I told them I'm new, fresh out the pond, like they say, don't know what I'm doing. And when they said, like you said, we did our chapter, it was a deadline, we put it in, and they said, okay, just like you did. Now you're going to get these edits back. You might see a lot of red, but you don't do a whole new chapter now with that. You have to change it. So when it got back, yeah, it was a lot of red, because I already knew a lot of red was going to be on me, because I'm not good at, I tell people where I'm not good at, and that's with writing and stuff. So when they did all that, I was like, I called the publisher. I'm like, okay, we got to talk. Because he's like, and she knew as soon as I said, can we have a talk? She said, no new chapter. I was
like, yeah, I tell the authors, this is one chapter. It's 1,500 words or 2,000 words. I said, save the rest for your next book, okay?
That's what she told me too. She said that's a whole nother program. Okay. I was like, but I understand now. I mean, now I went through a few and then met you and how you do your coaching, and really understood, like, there's a reason for all that. Yeah. That's why I was laughing with you when you explained it, because I've been there, and I was the author that was the, what they call it, the child that was like, okay, we got to deal with this child now. She's not listening. But I love how you are with your authors. I mean, you're sincere with them. Like I said, you got their back, and that's what it's all about, is having their back. Not just writing a chapter, but just the whole, experience that you have with them. So yeah. I wanted to ask you, by the marketing piece, because this is the Visibility Corner. I just want to get your take on that. With marketing and promoting, their self-published books and what you do with them. What are some of the strategies that you use to get them out there?
Yeah, so, the visibility is another component for, in my anthologies. I really I know the importance of visibility and exposure. And so for my authors, I make sure that they come on platforms such as yours, and there are other, show hosts that I connect with as well, podcast shows that I get on and bring them on there as well. And so there's a gamut of other, opportunities for them. I do billboards as well. So that's one that I've done as well, a billboard presentation on, and then also magazine features. So I try to bring my authors and give them the exposure that I know that they're going to, really appreciate, and so I've done press releases as well. So I try to do a mixture of things that's going to give them the exposure and the visibility that they need.
That's wonderful. See, that's what I like what you do too. You not only just, like I said, you're just a list array of things that you do for the authors, but then on that note, how important it is, like we say, to get the visibility out there, so people know who they are, what kind of author they are, what they wrote, how important it is, and just getting them in different places, from press releases to interviews to podcasts. So it's
Yeah.
really important for them to get out there. And if they're nervous about it, this is the time where you're kind of helping them too get kind of maybe over that and say it's important for them to be seen.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think that they appreciate the fact that, they get an opportunity to talk about their chapter and really get that exposure that they need. And a lot of times they're nervous, and that's to be expected, especially if they're first timers and they haven't been, on a platform before. So of course they're a little nervous, but once they keep doing it over and over and over again, it just becomes second nature for them.
And like I said, you do have the ones that's been doing it, and now I even see the progression from when you first started with them to now. They're just like,
Yeah.
okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
Well, Pastor, I want to take myself down, give you just a few more seconds to kind of give any lasting for the audience that you want to leave, and then I want to make sure that they get your contact information, and I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, hello there. I am so excited to be able to just come on one with you. And as a self-publishing coach to nonfiction authors, I have the pleasure of just working with some amazing people who want to take their stories to the world. And so, if I'm speaking to you, I would say to you that connect with me. I would love the opportunity to talk with you about your book idea, to show you how you can get it done, to show you the options that you can, select from in order to get your book published. The great thing about writing books and being a storyteller is the fact that this is your message. These are your experiences. These are your life lessons that which you want to share with the world. So one of the tips that I would leave you with is this: if you're not really clear about the direction you want to take your story, then you need a coach. You need a coach. And the thing about what I do with my authors is that's the very first thing that we tackle when it comes to writing books. It's getting the clarity on the story. It is finding what it is that you want the readers to know about your book, And so I would definitely want to connect with those of you who are there and you want to go ahead and quit saying you want to write a book and finally get that book done. And then also I work with my authors with my anthologies as well. And so you can go to my website, which is pauletteharper.com, and you can sign up for my wait list for my upcoming anthology that's going to be called The Author Call, that's going to be happening in a couple of months.
Amazing. I made sure to get your information down there. Please reach out to this wonderful queen. Been known her for a while, and I'm telling you, she is the best. I would recommend her over and over again. Thank you, Dr. Paulette, for coming on my show, The Visibility Corner, and just really making sure that people understand that their visibility is important in what they're doing, either if they're going to become an author or a speaker or whatever you're doing in life. Make sure that people know what you're doing because it's so important. You don't know how many people that you are helping. And like I said earlier, even saving lives.
Yeah.
So, as I say, maximize your reach and impact with expert visibility strategies. We will be back on another Visibility Corner with myself and another expert. But until then, you keep getting that visibility. Make sure that your why is bigger than your fear. Get yourself out there and make sure that you are a lighthouse to the world. Thank you so much. Bye.